Most aspirants do not fail prelims because they are lazy. They fail because they keep doing the wrong things for too long. I have cleared UPSC CSC prelims 4 times, written 4 mains and appeared for 1 interview. I have prepared as a full-time aspirant and also while working. This is not one more read these 47 sources video. This is not one more study 14 hours daily fantasy video, and this is definitely not theory from someone who has only watched this exam from outside. Before strategy, let's talk about why people fail prelims repeatedly. Most of the time, it is not because they are not working hard. It is because they are working in the wrong direction. The first mistake is resource overload. People keep adding books, PDFs, compilations, telegram notes, coaching handouts, current affairs materials, and whatnot. The second mistake, wrong understanding of the prelims. A lot of aspirants still treat prelims like a fact collection exam. It is not. UPSC is testing understanding, pattern recognition, elimination, memory under pressure, and judgment under uncertainty. The third mistake is ignoring PYQs. This is one of the biggest mistakes in UPSC preparation. PYQs are not just for checking repeats. They tell you how UPSC thinks. The fourth mistake is starting mocks too late. Many aspirants study for months and only then start testing. तब तक उनकी प्रिपरेशन पैसिव हो चुकी होती है, but actual paper handling remains weak. The fifth mistake is poor revision. Most aspirants do not really have a study problem. They have a retention problem. They keep reading new things and keep forgetting the old things. And the sixth mistake is taking CSAT lightly. Every year, serious aspirants lose their attempt not because of GS, but because they assume CSAT ho jayega. And that is why before I talk about books, marks or current affairs, let me give you the actual system first that worked for me over the years. If you remember only one framework from this video, remember this. My prelims preparation became much more stable when I stopped seeing it as one giant mess and started seeing it in the 4 stages. Stage 1. Build basics. Finish your standard sources properly. Not perfectly, but properly. The goal here is familiarity with the syllabus. Stage 2. PYQ-led understanding. Once basics are in place, spend serious time with previous year questions. Not just solving them, studying them, grouping them by theme, understanding what UPSC asks directly, indirectly, conceptually, and deceptively. Stage 3. Text and diagnose. Now start mocks seriously. Mocks are not for ego. Mocks are diagnostic tools. They show where your knowledge is weak, where elimination is poor, and where temperament becomes unstable. Stage 4. Revision and consolidation. This is the real winning stage. You should gradually reduce new inputs and increase repeated revision of the same material. And one thing that helped me a lot was planning from macro to micro. I used to make goals at multiple levels, monthly goals, weekly goals, and even the day level goals. So instead of carrying one big tension in my head, like I have to finish Polity or I have to cover the geo. I always knew what this month is for, what this week is for, and what today is for. That reduced a lot of confusion. And once you understand this 4-stage system, the next obvious question becomes, what exactly should you study? And how much is enough? That's where the sources come in. But for prelims, my sources were actually quite limited. For Polity, I used 11th standard NCERT, Laxmikanth, and Atish Mathur sir lectures. Modern history, I used Spectrum and own notes made by me. Ancient and medieval history, I used Lucent and NIOS. Art and culture, I used again NIOS and new NCERT boxes. For geography, 11th and 12th NCERT, JC Leung for some conceptual clarity. For economy, I used micro notes of 11th and 12th NCERTs, Brunel and Basava Open lectures. For environment, NCERTs, Shankar IS and Shivin for current affairs related. For science and tech, Lucent and CA tests. Current affairs, CA tests, reverse engineering. And apart from the standard books and current affairs source, I also maintain separate targeted fact notes for high revision areas. For example, I prepared separate fact notes for environment conventions, government schemes, places in news, and CA notes based on the tests. So whenever I saw recurring themes through tests or revision, instead of leaving them scattered across PDFs and test papers, I pulled them into one revisable place that made revision much cleaner. Because one hidden problem in prelims preparation is this: you may have studied something, but if it is scattered in 7 different places, it behaves like you never studied it. But even limited sources won't help if you are studying them blindly. And that is exactly why PYQs are not optional. PYQs are what turn random study into a targeted study. If sources tell you what to study, PYQs tell you how UPSC actually asks. And that difference changes everything. If someone asks me what is the single most important thing in prelims preparation, I will still say PYQs. Not because UPSC repeats exact questions, but because PYQs reveal the examiner's mind. You start noticing patterns, recurring themes. If someone asks me what is the single most important thing in prelims preparation, I will still say PYQs. Not because UPSC repeats exact questions, but because PYQs reveal the examiner's mind. You start noticing patterns. You realize UPSC loves certain areas repeatedly. You realize some topics look static but are asked dynamically. I had made a UPSC PYQ syllabus. There I'll be talking much more deeply in the next upcoming videos. And let me add one thing here. PYQ देखोगे तो एग्जाम समझ आएगा, सिर्फ नोट्स देखोगे तो बस syllabus दिखेगा. Mocks are not just testing your knowledge. Mocks are exposing your personality inside the paper. Are you reckless? Are you too defensive? Do you panic early or you guess badly? Mocks reveal all of that. And this is why Some people get decent mock scores but still underperform in the real paper because they analyze marks but not the behavior. The most important part of a mock is not giving the test, it is analyzing it. After every mock asks, which question did I know but still got wrong? Which questions did I guess badly? Which questions did I leave but should have attempted? Which topics are repeatedly weak? Are my mistakes conceptual or silly? That analysis is gold. And that brings us to one of the most underestimated parts of prelims. Not just how to prepare for the paper, but how to take the paper. But before that, one area where many people quietly lose control is current affairs and revision. Reverse learning from current affairs tests. I used current affairs tests from Forum and Vajira, but not in the usual way. I was not using them mainly to judge my score. I was using them to detect patterns. If certain issues, organization, reports, places, technologies, agreements, or environment topics kept appearing across tests, I treated them as a signal. Then I went backwards. What is the issue? What is the context? What is the static base behind it? So in a way, I used those tests for reverse learning, not just testing memory, but identifying what kind of current affairs themes were becoming exam relevant. That helped me reduce randomness. Coverage feels good, revision gets you actual results. New study gives dopamine. Revision gives marks. Aspirants often say, I have already studied this, but the real question is, can you recall it? Under pressure? Can you distinguish between similar options? Can you avoid confusion in the exam hall? That only comes from repeated revisions. And that is why my entire prelim system kept collapsing into the same old 4 repeatable rules. Minimal sources, maximum revision, PYQ-led understanding, and calm paper taking. This section matters a lot more than most aspirants realize, because sometimes prelims is not decided by what you knew at home. It is decided by what you did under pressure for 2 hours. First, accept this. You will not know every answer. No one does. That is why I keep saying prelims is a decision-making exam, not just a study exam. You need to know your own attempt style. Are you too conservative? Do you leave too many? Do you attempt too many? Do you panic after seeing difficult opening questions? These things matter. My broad suggestion is to take the paper in rounds. Round 1. Pick questions you're reasonably confident about. Round 2. Come to the ones where elimination is possible. Round 3. Decide where intelligent risk is worth taking. I also used to solve by reading the statements in the reverse order. I will explain more on this in a separate upcoming videos. And lastly, let me say you one more important thing. Elimination is not a trick. It is a skill. And if one more thing can silently destroy your good preparation is CSAT. Not because it is glamorous, but because people keep underestimating it until it is too late. Let me say this very directly. Every year, some serious candidates do not lose prelims because of GS. They lose prelims because they were casually confident about CSATs. And one practical way to approach CSAT is to first focus on the low-hanging fruits, such as reading comprehensions, reasoning, number system, probability, and permutation and combinations. Instead of treating CSAT like one giant scary paper, break it into these components and ask, where am I already decent? Where am I weak? And where can I improve with regular practice? Practice CSAT every weekend. CSAT को ego issue मत बनाओ, qualification issue समझो. And this becomes even more important depending on the mode in which you're preparing, full-time or with a job. The exam does not care whether you're working or a full-time aspirant, but your system absolutely should. To working aspirants, I want to say one thing clearly. Stop feeling inferior. Yes, time is less. Fatigue is real. Weekdays are difficult, but working aspirants often develop the stronger discipline because they know every hour matters. My advice to them, have a fixed weekday routine. Use commute or small pockets for revision. Protect weekends aggressively. Keep sources minimal and avoid impossible schedules that collapse after 3 days. For full-time aspirant, the danger is different. The danger is not lack of time. The danger is the illusion of time. When you have a full day, it is easy to feel that everything can be done later. That later never comes. So full-time aspirants need to be careful about drift. Too much passive reading, too much note making, too much discussion, too much strategy consumption, and too little testing and revision. And regardless of which category you fall into, the core rule still remains the same. Simplify more, revise more, stay more stable. And honestly, that is the cleanest way I can summarize my entire prelims journey. So let me close with that. So after clearing prelims 4 times, writing 4 mains, appearing for the interview, and preparing both as a full-time aspirant and with a job, this is the cleanest conclusion I have reached. Prelims is clear by simplifying, repeating, and thinking like the exam, not by collecting more material, not by copying 20 strategies, not by waiting to feel perfectly ready. And that is exactly what I want this channel to be about. Not noise, not coaching style packaging, but clear, experience-based lessons that save your time and reduce your confusion. Most people know the syllabus as a document. Very few understand the syllabus as UPSC actually asks it. That gap is what I want to solve on this channel. In fact, this video is just the beginning. Over the next videos, I'm going to build this channel around a few very specific things. UPSC 2.0 syllabus, a more practical way of understanding the syllabus beyond the PDF. UPSC PYQ syllabus, understanding the exam through the previous year questions, not just through the topic names. The unorthodox way of clearing UPSC. Thanks to my IPS friend for this. All credit goes to him. A context-based PYQ series where I will decode PYQs through themes and context. And a PYQ linked current affairs series. So the current affairs stops feeling random and starts feeling exam relevant. So that's the direction of this channel. This is last attempt. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.